Who is the more powerful espada, Ulquiorra Cifer or Coyote Starrk?
ようこそ私のソウルソサエティへ。
仕方ないっすね。挽回、観音開き、紅姫改め。
Both of these Arrancars rank very high among the espadas. Ulquiorra is number 4, Starrk is number 1. However, since Ulquiorra possesses a segunda etapa, many fans tend to believe that he climbs the power ladder and surpasses Starrk. Both espadas have very strange origins. Ulquiorra was born in the pits of Hueco with a distinct external shade from the rest of his skin, and would wander across the sands of Hueco until he found a symbol of nothingness. Starrk's spiritual pressure was too strong for his brethren, so over time they wasted away. Embraced by solitude, he had to split himself into two to keep his own company. Both espadas are very observant fighters who use their pesquisa and their intellect to analyze the opponent. Ulquiorra is extremely logical and can analyze the opponent without emotion, while Starrk has impressed Shunsui Kyoraku many times in their fight. As a result, Shunsui called him a difficult opponent because of his sharp intellect. The data book reiterated this point by saying that Starrk's eyes pierced through everything. In just first release, Ulquiorra was powerful enough to tank Ichigo's holified Getsuga Tensho, and could move over a long distance fast enough to blitz Ichigo, the latter admitting that he couldn't react to Ulquiorra at all. Ulquiorra can then activate a segunda etapa and battle with Ichigo's full hollow form. However, Ulquiorra did not scale to this form at all, as everything he did, the hollow simply crushed it. And the moment he gave the espada one slash across his body, the fight was over. This is because Ulquiorra's internal organs cannot be fixed with regeneration. Ulquiorra's Lanza de Relampago is his ultimate technique. It is stronger than a Gran Rey Cero and a Cero Oscuras, and he can fire this attack multiple times. And while the explosion is so deadly, the lance itself is more dense than the explosion, because all the energy is packed into a small space. And despite White's ability to crush this with physical strength, it is still noted that this ability is insanely powerful. Despite Ulquiorra's insane power, it's important to understand the power gap between Starrk and the other espadas. For example, Lord Baragon is beneath Starrk in terms of attack potency and power level. But even Novel Grimjaw, who performs very similar to Haribel, the number 3 espada, was said to be weaker than Baragon in terms of power level before Baragon even became an espada, as Ikomiki Damwe, who was making the comparison, only knew Baragon from the past. The former number 6 went on to admit that he would die to the likes of Baragon or Aizen. And after witnessing Ikomiki Damwe's power, which could challenge all of these Arrancars at the same time, Charlotte still believed that Baragon's abilities surpassed that version of Ikomiki Damwe. Furthermore, Starrk, who could fight 2 of the strongest captains at the same time, can spam countless Ceros with Cero Metralleta, which magnifies his attack potency many times over, an ability which corners Shunsui Kyoraku, from which it is useless to run away, with which Starrk can fire 1,000 Ceros in an instant in one spot. Even Shunsui knew that he couldn't allow this to happen, so he immediately went for Starrk's head. And then Starrk can summon something even stronger than Metralleta, his wolves, by ripping his soul into pieces. These wolves are also like flames, they disperse and reform, and can attack the opponent from many angles. Furthermore, there are more than 40 of these wolves at the same time. Starrk's resurrection also allowed him to evade a surprise attack from Shunsui Kyoraku, forcing the latter to admit that Starrk is even faster. In terms of power and lethality, those like Yami are said to be deserving of the number 0. In the battle against Kenpachi and Byakuya, which was off-screen, they performed incredibly well. Starrk, on the other hand, also has his own statement. He did not embarrass his title of number 1. The abilities he showed in drawing out the power of Bankai was worthy of number 1. Starrk wins. Cheers.